What's up guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about how you can go ahead and pre-frame every single sales call so you guys are never in a position in which you're taken off guard, right? You're never in a position in which the prospect is not taking you seriously. Basically, you guys are always in control. How can we always make sure that this exact process is never changed? The number one thing that you guys need to understand before you even get into any sales call, right before the call even starts, is the prospect booked the call for a reason, okay? From what I've seen is, people tend to make mistakes and get nervous when they see that the prospect is making a lot of money, right? That's when they get a bit intimidated, and that's when they really, begin to, maybe change the structure of the call before they even get into the pitch, right? And that's the biggest mistake that you guys can possibly make. You don't want to make that mistake. What you guys need to understand is the prospect booked in a call because they have a problem, okay? I don't care if they're making, $1 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, 100 grand a month. It doesn't really matter, okay? If they booked in a call with you, they have a problem because listen, if they're making a lot of money, then why would they take the time to book in the call with you, right? They clearly need the solution, right? They might come in the call a bit angsty, right? They might have, the sophisticated buyer archetype, but you can't let that get in the way of, the way that you guys frame your calls, okay? Cannot let that get in the way of it, because if you do, they're gonna see right through it and you guys have already lost control. The way that I want you guys to imagine your sales calls is the doctor-patient relationship. So basically, you guys are the doctor, the prospect is the patient. You guys have the anecdote, it's not free, okay? Understand this always. I've said this in other videos that I've made, but never forget this, okay? If you guys can understand this and internalize it, it's gonna be one of the most powerful things within your entire sales process. Because once you internalize this, you will always understand that, okay, there's no reason for me to be afraid, right? As a salesperson, there's no reason for me to be afraid because the prospect booked in the call because they have a problem. Worst case scenario, maybe I don't have the solution. Maybe we're not a good fit. Okay, cool, they'll just leave. Or if we are a good fit, then they'll buy. And it'll be my duty to make sure that they buy. Okay, understand this, internalize this, and you guys will not have that issue. Now, once the internalization process takes place, here's the way that I always like to start off my calls. It just works the best, doesn't matter who I'm talking to. It just always seems to work really great. So basically what I like to say, hey Danny, I'm gonna start off by just asking you a couple questions just to really understand what your situation looks like, right? I just wanna get a clear picture of what your offer looks like, what the past couple months have looked like for you, any bottlenecks you faced, and really just assess whether or not our solution can even help you out in the first place, right? Obviously, listen, if our solution can help you out, I'm gonna be very upfront and honest. I'm a blunt person, wouldn't wanna waste your time. I respect your time, right? Now, obviously, if we could help you, we'll simply continue the call. Sounds good? And then they'll agree. And guys, this is so powerful because literally, and I've tested this with over 500 calls, right? No matter what buyer archetype you guys have, they're gonna appreciate this procedure so much because if it's a sophisticated buyer type, right, these guys are typically the guys that are just very right to the point. They don't wanna take any BS. They're very direct. They're gonna appreciate it because on the back of their head, they're gonna be like, okay, awesome. If this guy sucks, well, within 5 minutes, I'll just tell him that, I don't like it, or, just end the call anyway if we're not a good fit. So right away, you guys have already set the expectations by making a statement like that. So when it comes to that sophisticated buyer type, which is the buyer type that most people are afraid of in sales, you've already basically mediated that situation already, okay? When it comes to the other buyer types, which are the ones that are a bit more, jolly and a bit more friendly, I mean, they're good anyway because regardless, it wouldn't have really affected them. But the main reason that this works so well for any buyer archetype, guys, is because people respect their time, right? Obviously, they want you to respect their time. And basically, when you make the expectations clear from the get-go, they're gonna be a lot more excited to jump into the call because they're gonna know, okay, either this is a good fit and I can get something out of this, or hey, even if it's not, I won't really get my time wasted. So this works really great at diffusing situations, and it works really great at going ahead and setting expectations. Another thing is, sometimes a prospect might just cut you off and start by asking you some questions. The way that I like to go ahead and basically, deal with the situation is I'll tell the prospect like, hey Josh, I understand that you have some questions. This process is not gonna take too much longer. At the end of the process, you can ask me any question that you like. Though if we do it this way, that way we can both go ahead and get our points across and we can really understand what we have to offer each other. Sounds good? Just say it like that, right? Or if they ask you a simple, super quick question, just answer that quick question. But if it's something that's very deep and complicated, then you can tell them like, hey, don't worry, I'm almost done asking the questions. It's gonna make a lot more sense if I'm just done asking you the questions in the next 2 minutes. And then from there, you can ask me any question that you'd like. Sounds good? And then from there, you guys are good because basically, you don't ever want to lose control on the call. If they start off by asking you questions, you're going to completely deviate from, whatever your process looked like. And obviously you don't want that. I've said this before many times. There's basically 4 parts of a sales call. The first one is the expectations part, where you basically just start off by telling them what's going to happen in the call. The second part is the qualification section, where you're basically trying to gather as much information as possible about their inefficiencies and really their numbers. The third part of the sales call is the actual pitch, and the last one is objection handling, right? If they start off by asking you some questions in the middle of your qualifying process, you've basically ruined the entire trajectory of the call, and you're going to go very off point. You don't want that to happen. You basically want it to be a straight line. That's what Jordan Belfort does. It works great, right? You just want to look at it in terms of yourself going from point A to point B, and anytime the prospect says anything that's going to be deviating you away from that straight trajectory, you just want to go ahead and take them down back to reality and continue going that straight line, right? Basically, if you guys are following that procedure, and the prospect tries to take control, the call is going to go like this. You're going to be up here, down here. It's going to be a really bumpy road, and then before you know it, you've lost control and the call hasn't really gone your way. And obviously you guys don't want that to happen. So guys, that about sums up this video. Essentially what you guys want to do is you want to make sure that you guys set expectations very clear. You want to make sure that you guys are not deviating away from the actual procedure of the call. You guys want to make sure that you guys are treating every prospect the exact same. I don't care if they're making $1 million a month. I don't care if they're making 10K a month. Don't treat them differently, guys. Follow the exact same procedure. That's the biggest mistake that people make, is they tend to treat people in a different manner, a bit more special. If they see that they're making more money, because they get a bit intimidated. You don't want to do that, because if you do, they're going to see right through it, and you've already lost control of the call. And most importantly, guys, if you do that, you've already mentally lost, because you're already giving them a bit too much respect than you should. Treat every prospect the exact same way, and you guys will get the close.